we need, when we're talking about the reforms in Ukraine, we're talking about a set of a lot of complexity. Over the 24 years, the reforms were done in some areas not. Actually, in many areas it was opposite direction because the ugliness of the system been built over the time. So there are areas where we've done many things which are currently generating positive stories. First positive story is police. Everybody knows, right? Police on the streets of Kyiv, selfie with the police officers is very popular. Second is procurement, electronic procurement system, Prozora, which started as an initiative that I proposed at the meeting. And then activists, we start building this, and it's now run full stream by Max Nefyodov, who is the leader of this reform now.
So how does that work? Explain to our viewers how that works.
It's very simple. When we started the idea, changing legislation can take 6 to 9 months in Ukraine, so it's average, and it's a normal process. And everybody talks about legislation changes and proving that things can do well in the procurement. And when I was sitting at this round table, says, why don't we start and show to everybody that electronic system can work and can solve the problem with decreasing the price for the area which is gray zone or kind of white field. So where basically is the place where tenders, you don't need to run tender if you are procuring under 100,000 hryvnias. Before now it's 200,000 and 1 million of services. So it's area where this is a niche we propose to run electronic system. What it means, you go online, you register your private entrepreneur or a small company or big company, and government or government agencies put a bid. They would like to procure paper. You go online, you bid. At the same time, another person logs in and bid. And they don't see their names, but they see their bids.
Okay, so it's transparency.
So it's a transparency. So they get a bid, and then there is a timing given for a round. When it's done, everybody see the names.
So what role is internet playing in fighting corruption in Ukraine right now?
I would say digitalization. Digitalization is a vital and one of the most advanced tool globally, and Ukraine particularly, that shed light on transparency of everything. A lot of people are not happy with the transparency. Why? When petitions started and when President launched electronic petitions, basically we have a list. If you look at the top 20, it's the top 20 issues that people are concerned about. And it's a lot about anti-corruption, courts, etc. So it's a very, again, digital tool. When we're talking electronic procurement, it's electronic procurements which allow us to save already millions of hryvnias in the real procurement. When we're talking today about open data, and the project that Ministry of Finance launched was e-data, where you can actually see every transaction that's taking place today with the Treasury. That's transparency. It's very difficult to hide when things the sun is shining. You know, my favorite phrase is when the cockroaches are running around, when you shed light, they run away. And that's
so it's similar with corruption in Ukraine?
No, absolutely, because when you introduce technology and the full transparency in the whole process. Some people hate electronic document flow. Why? Because it's transparent. I can calculate how many documents you processed. I can tell how long you processed this document. You cannot play the tricks that the document's been lost. No, it's possible to trace. You can clearly see when it is, who is responsible, why that document is sitting here, and why you're not performing.
And I think that's something I have to explain. I mean, for our viewers who haven't been to Ukraine, there's a lot of send me a formal letter, send me this, that's been lost.
Oh, could you please sign it on the back of the document? Vizuvanya is putting your signature on the documents. It's interesting, there is no law that requires that. Everybody has a rule of kind of confirmation that you read the document, you sign it at the back, basically called shared responsibility or shared irresponsibility for the proposal. And this is absolutely different when you're talking about digitization. When you look into today in the global world, digitization is one of the first steps that actually made the world transparent.
What is the role of the National Reform Council in making ministries responsible for reforms and government bodies, and how do they hold people accountable?
Ministers and government is responsible for reform by design, by constitution, by laws. What we do as a National Reform Council, we actually, because we have president, cabinet of ministers, parliament and civil society, we put them at the table to have a deep discussion about any particular reform,
Mm-hmm.
drilling very, very deep. It's interesting because everybody looks at the National Reform Council just at the moment of meeting, but there is a lot of work done pre-meeting, preparing, structuring, understanding key problems, possible solutions, and all this is accumulated, structures, and brought to the meeting. Then we have a very deep discussion about the problem from the key stakeholders in the country. So
Okay, but I have to play devil's advocate
hold
here.
on.
Okay,
Then there is a
all right.
follow-up. So then there is a follow-up. I haven't finished.
I'm waiting.
And the follow-up, the decisions that are made at the National Reform Council, then we are tracing them. If we decided that this law needs to be submitted and reviewed, we're tracking who is submitting. If somebody needs to present to the fraction of coalition, we make sure and we encourage that the meeting takes place. If there is a conflict, we're trying to facilitate the discussion, because there could be, on any reforms, we usually have at least two opinions, and they used to be different. And they can be in cabinet, and the parliament, the presidential administration, they can be any place, or civil society. So one of the key challenges today in Ukraine, that there could be two opinions that people are fighting against each other.